Hey kids, I'm Vanessa,
And I'm Brooke.
and we're the Pennsylvania Field Organizers for Mom's Clean Air Force.
To celebrate Earth Month, we're showing the movie Curious by Philadelphia-based group Ants on a Log with bonus story time at the end. In the movie you're about to watch, Cleo and Taylor ask a senator to listen to their ideas, and he isn't very helpful. Lucky for us, there are lots of lawmakers that care a lot about listening to kids and parents and about making sure we have clean air and water and that we're protecting our environment.
Guess what? A couple of our favorite Pennsylvania state representatives even recorded messages that they wanted us to share with you. You'll meet them during some of our commercial breaks in the movie. We're excited for you to learn more about how kids like you can help clean up our air in Pennsylvania. Hope you enjoy today's show. I'm excited. Are you excited, Brooke?
I sure am. Let's get started.
Two teaspoons of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of citric acid versus 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of citric acid. Where'd that pencil get to?
This is the story of two siblings, Cleo and Taylor, who like to ask questions and to figure out answers.
Curious, I'm so curious. Why does it make my mom and stepdad so furious? Like the time that I wondered how the landline worked, so I took apart the phone and rearranged the numbers. It wasn't anything a little math couldn't fix. Just add 4 to the number you want to dial, then multiply by 6.
Curious, I'm so curious. Why does it make my mom and stepdad so furious?
Or the summer that I grew a garden only made of beans. What could make them bigger? What would make them green? I took half and gave them compost, and that half grew much bigger. So then I repeated the experiment 3 times to see if I could get the same results. And, well, please refer to this figure.
Ooh.
Curious, I'm so curious. Why does it make my mom and stepdad so furious?
Leo, why is my shoe sitting in the windowsill with, what are those, beans?
Sorry, Mom, I forgot. May I please use your shoe for something?
Some questions they would ask and then never get to the answer, and that would be okay. Other questions would naturally answer themselves simply by being asked. And still other questions would lead them to more questions, which would in turn lead to even more questions.
Thanks to my mom for teaching me how to use your screwdriver. Thanks to my stepdad, you introduced me to my favorite TV show, MacGyver.
Let's see, baking soda or citric acid? One is the limiting factor, but I have to measure how much gas is coming out. Where's my laptop? How to find the limiting factor.
Cleo!
Oh, hey, Taylor.
Cleo, do you want to hear a riddle?
Maybe later.
Later?
Causes of a chronic cough.
In September, my family moved to this new town. I think I like it here, but something feels different. Ever since we moved here, Taylor likes to cough now.
Leo, this is the 3rd time I've asked you. Please go to the pharmacy.
Why do I have to go again?
To pick up Taylor's medicine.
Okay, but why does Taylor need so much medicine all the time?
I'm so curious.
All right, come on, Taylor. Well, here we are at the pharmacy.
Okay, I want to tell you my riddle. Okay, 3...
Oh, Taylor, you don't sound good.
3
I
frogs.
think you can save your riddle for later.
Okay.
Today, Cleo and Taylor wondered whether what they were seeing was a pattern or just a coincidence.
Taylor, it's not just you.
Whoa, yeah, all of these people are sick? Hello, person I don't know in line.
Hello.
Are you getting an inhaler for your asthma too? That's what I'm getting.
Taylor, you can't ask that.
Why, yes, I am.
Oh, you too?
I look around me and I see
Everyone is sick.
they're tired, angry, sick, and sick of
They're
it.
lining up to see the doctor, but they don't know when.
And when they leave, we see they have more bags of medicine. Is this normal? Is this how we're supposed to live? Is this normal? Is this how we're supposed to live?
More people just keep coming in.
I wake up every day, coughing like a smokestack. I've never seen air like this except for over train tracks.
Why is the sky here darker and more foggy? Is the city doing something that they ought not to be? Is this normal? Is this how we're supposed to live? Is this normal? Is this how we're supposed to live?
This is Headline News. Thanks for tuning in. The president said today, fight, fight, fight.
Win, win, win.
In local news, we've got an interview with the man.
About the oil refinery expansion plan.
Now, Cleo and Taylor just happened to be watching the TV in the pharmacy because there wasn't much else to do while they waited for Taylor's medicine, and something about the word oil refinery stuck with Cleo.
Oil refinery. What's an oil refinery?
Luckily, there happened to be an old woman sitting in a chair next to the main desk of the pharmacy. Cleo and Taylor couldn't tell whether she was waiting for something or just passing the time, looking for some human interaction.
An oil refinery is a place where they refine oil.
Look, Cleo, it's in the newspaper too.
But why do we need to refine oil? I'm just curious.
I know, you're just curious.
Right, just curious.
Lots of reasons. Cars, heating, cooking, hot water for showers, all those computers and cell phones you young people are running. They need to get their energy from somewhere. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Their energy from somewhere? What do you mean?
The ground. People take it out of the ground and refine it and sell it. Young lady, have you ever heard of the internet? Must I Google everything for you?
Right. Sorry. We'll let you get back to your newspaper.
Excuse me, hi. Would you like to hear a riddle? It's a really good one.
Taylor, not now. Gosh.
Taylor was often trying to tell riddles, but their riddles were never very funny, so Cleo wasn't exactly riddled with excitement to hear them, and, actually, Cleo hoped Taylor would drop the whole riddle thing once and for all and move on to knock-knock jokes or maybe puns.
Hi guys, it's State Representative Sara Innamorato, and I'm so grateful to be here this afternoon to be able to tell you a little bit about what I do. I'm currently standing in front of our state capitol, which is in what city? If you guessed Harrisburg, you are absolutely right. So as a state representative, I come here and I make laws that help keep our air clean and clear. I also make sure that businesses don't dirty our air with pollution and make us sick. Being a state rep is really important to me because dirty air can be really harmful for kids with asthma and other people with asthma like myself, causing asthma attacks and causing us to miss school or work or not be able to go outside and play. Keeping our air clean and our environment healthy is a big job, and it takes all of us. So you can help me too by picking up litter in your community, starting a garden or growing your own food, and just making sure that we're looking out for one another. All right, I hope to see you around in the neighborhood soon, and thanks for doing your part to keep our environment safe and healthy.
As the two were walking home from the pharmacy, they couldn't help but notice some very large men wearing suits and talking loudly. Cleo and Taylor hid behind a parked car to hear the rest of the businessmen's conversation.
Let's just get a couple of rules changed and we can expand the oil refinery here.
It'll be good for the people. Everyone loves development. This is just what this city needs.
A hub for oil and energy production.
We can tell them it'll increase their property values.
I always say if there's an option to build more things or not build more things,
build more things. If we make the meeting during the day, people will be at work.
Standard.
We'll push through those regulations, bypass the city ordinances.
Monday at 1 p.m., right after people's lunch breaks.
Yeah, make it big. Make it tall. Let's get rich. And build it all. Yeah, make it big. Make it tall. We don't care. Who takes the fall? Yeah.
Come on, Taylor, we've got to get to work.
But Cleo, I don't really understand what they're talking about.
Me neither.
So when they got home, they went to where every modern-day student goes. I know what you, dear listener, are thinking, and no, it was not the microfiche section of the library, and it was not the archives at the National Museum, and it was not an encyclopedia in book form. They went
to the Google machine!
Let's see. What did those guys' jackets say? CSOR? Was that it?
We search, and we search, and we search and search, and then we search again. And that's why it's called research. Because once is not enough, no, we're not satisfied at all. Until we've read from start to end.
CSOR. Canadian Sandwich Operating Room. That can't be it. Central Scotland Omnivorous Rabbits? Interesting.
I'm tired.
What? We just started.
I'm hungry.
A sandwich operating room does sound
Research
good.
is boring.
Here we go. City Solutions Oil Refinery. This is the place the news was talking about. And on those guys' jackets. We've been in the neighborhood for over 100 years, and we love our neighbors.
They sound like nice people.
Okay, hold on. Reading. They're trying to build an oil refinery here. But oil's a fossil fuel, and when you burn fossil fuels, you make pollution.
We search, and we search, and we search and search, and then we search again. And that's why it's called research. Because once is not enough, no, we're not satisfied at all. Until we've read from start to end.
Oh, this one. Neighborhood complains that oil refineries make pollution. Asthma rates are on the rise.
Asthma? That's what I have.
Okay, we are just getting started. There's so much more to research. Where else has this been happening?
We search, and we search, and we search and then we search.
I don't want to keep searching.
Come on! That's why it's called research.
I'm hungry.
Because once is not enough, it's never enough.
Why do we have to keep searching?
Until we've read from start to end.
All the way to the end? Wait, so we have to read the whole internet?
I think so. Okay, we better get started. What to do when someone wants to build something toxic near you. And do I have to read the whole internet if I want to No, wait. Oh, no.
Do you think we broke it?
Maybe? Ugh, this was the second laptop Dad got me. He's never gonna want to get me another one. Maybe we can get it fixed.
Uncle Steve, What about him?
What do you mean? What about him?
He knows a lot of things.
That's true. Uncle Steve does always have an answer for everything.
Taylor! Come here, sweetie. You have a doctor's appointment.
Don't worry. I'll go visit him and I'll tell you everything he says.
Okay. Hey, Mom, do you want to hear a riddle?
Having accidentally put their laptop in disrepair by asking it too many difficult questions, they decided to send Cleo to visit a real person, their Uncle Steve. Cleo liked Uncle Steve well enough, but he did have a couple of annoying habits. Still, Cleo thought if she could just get past his annoying habits, maybe she could learn something useful from him. Maybe he would have some answers.
Hello, Uncle Steve? Mind if I come in?
Cleo, what a lovely surprise!
Hi! I have a question for you about the oil refinery.
Ah, yes, the oil refinery. Well,
yeah,
did I ever tell you about the time that I was having lunch with myself? And I just had this amazing invention. It was very innovative, and now this is related to the oil refinery. You just have to wait. Just wait a second.
Okay.
So I was making this amazing sandwich, and I put together peanut butter and, wait for it, jelly. Now, I know you've never heard of that.
Don't think you invented that.
Yes, I invented that. It was a snowy day in January. I remember it was beautiful because the ingenuity of the chemicals between peanut butter and jelly. It's just brilliant, if I do say so myself. And here's why it's related. You see...
You just let me speak. I've got things I want to say. I'm listening with all my might, but I can't stay here all day.
All day? No, who said anything about all day?
Uncle Steve.
I was just saying.
I can tell, listen, I can tell you're trying to help, but you're not even listening.
Oh yes, I'm a very good listener. I actually had both my ears checked recently.
All right, yes, thanks, but listen to my words. Ask me if you're telling me what I've already heard. Everything you're telling her, she already knows. So please leave her some space to speak. Your phrases are long and you're leaving her nowhere to go. Wow. Thanks, I feel so supported. That
yes,
was really...
a woman should feel supported, and let me tell you why. See, this is how women should feel.
I got things that I want to do.
Well, no,
I got places I gotta be.
Listen, I have someone
I can't stay here all day with you.
Let me show you
Listening to you explain all these things that you know to me.
Wow, what an adorable song.
I got things that I gotta do. I got places I gotta be. I can't stay here all day with you. Listening to you explain all these things that you know to me.
Well, actually, I have a problem with that too.
What? You do?
Yes, everyone looks to me like I'm an expert. I'm not an expert.
Exactly.
They assume that I know things.
And they assume I don't know things.
Even when I don't.
Even when I do. Well, alright, yes, thanks, we're singing it loud and clear. Ask her if the things you say she wants to hear. Wait to see how she responds. Leave her air and space. Then decide which words to use and which ones are a waste. Yes, I'm a woman, I may be polite, but wondering what you know doesn't keep me up at night. Yes, I'm a woman,
yes, I'm a man,
I may be polite,
I speak loud, I speak low,
but wondering what you know,
but I don't have the answers,
doesn't keep me up at
do
night.
all you wanna know?
Yeah, wondering what you know doesn't keep me up at night.
Cleo just needed a little space. This was one of Uncle Steve's annoying habits. She paused for effect to see if he had really heard her.
I deserve a turn to speak. But it's not a race. I just need some space.
Oh, okay, some space, okay.
And Uncle Steve gave her that space. He let there be some silence in their conversation. For even though he was in his late 40s, he was still learning new things and still working on himself.
Thank you. So I was trying to say that there's a big corporation that wants to expand the oil refinery here. There's asthma and cancer and pollution, and Taylor and I want to know what we can do to fix the problem.
So you want to know what you can do about it?
Yes.
Ah. I don't really know.
Oh. Okay. Okay, Uncle Steve, guess what? It's okay to say you don't know. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm actually not sure.
Okay, well, Uncle Steve, it's okay to say that you don't know.
Have you tried writing a letter?
A letter? To who?
To someone in charge, like a politician.
Oh, you mean the people who make laws?
Exactly.
So anyone can write a letter?
Anyone.
Anyone can write a letter to your politicians. Thanks, Uncle Steve.
Anytime.
See you later.
I actually have a fracking well pad about 2 miles from my house, and it's right above a park that I have a bunch of childhood memories in. It's always been a place where I could just go and have fun, and now I can't.
I have a responsibility to protect my children. As a community, we have a responsibility to protect our children. Our elected officials have a responsibility to protect our children and the air that they breathe.
In my parents' bedroom, you can see a pad that is being fracked, and it's not a good experience. I really do think there is still hope that we can save the incredible planet that we live on.
Cleo was excited to tell Taylor the news about writing letters to politicians. She had learned a little about government in school, but she hadn't realized that even she, Cleo, little Cleo, and Taylor, and any kid for that matter, could write letters and call and participate in this big, grand government thing that she thought was only for adults.
A letter?
Yes, Uncle Steve said anyone can write a letter to Congress. Oh, there you are, Pencil.
Wow, anyone can write a letter.
Yes, and that's what politicians are for. You can call them and tell them about all your problems. Let's see. Dear Mr. Senator, my name is Cleo.
And my name is Taylor.
And we're worried about the oil refinery that City Solutions is planning to build in our town.
That sounds good. Keep going.
Please do not let them build more oil refineries here. There are other ways to make energy.
Like solar power and hydropower.
And wind. Did you know that anything moving produces energy? In closing, please don't let anyone build an oil refinery here or anywhere else.
And also, in closing, please write back if you would like to hear a riddle.
What? No.
Oh, come on.
Okay, fine.
Signed, Taylor and Cleo.
Cleo and Taylor.
Okay, fine.
Thanks, Pencil.
And so they sent the letter off, in the actual mail, with a stamp and an envelope and everything. And then they waited. And while they were waiting, outside of their window, they could hear someone familiar approaching.
Make it big, huh? Make it tall, huh? Let's get rich, ha! And build it all, yeah! Make it big, huh? Make it tall, huh? We don't care, ha! Who takes the fall, yeah!
When we write our letter, let's make sure to focus on how much this oil refinery will really help the people.
Yes, and we'll give them free tickets to the baseball game. Politicians love baseball.
We've got to get this thing built. The faster, the better.
Build more things.
Cleo, I think we need a new plan.
Cleo and Taylor needed a new plan. Surely they couldn't afford to take politicians out for dinner and baseball games. Were the businessmen's letters worth more than their own? So they decided to take the bus down to City Hall. Maybe an in-person visit would do the trick. They knocked on the senator's door.
Hello?
Children. Hold on, Clarissa.
Senator, we wanted to talk with you about the letter we sent. Did you get it?
Yes, tacos are probably fine.
Tacos?
And also, I would like to talk to you about a riddle. 3 frogs.
Taylor, did you get our letter?
Letter?
Well, see, we know the oil refineries are causing pollution.
Right. Well, last time we had pizza, and remember what happened.
What?
The senator was distracted by figuring out what he was going to order for his lunch meeting.
Cleo, this isn't working.
Was it also possible the senator was just trying to look busy?
Taylor, go get the guitar.
Got it.
People are talking all around me. I know something isn't right. So I called my representative about it to see if he could shed some light.
Oh, yes. We will get right on that. Just write your compliment in an email.
Compliment?
We wrote you a letter.
Wrote and wrote so thoughtfully. Our research, it was ruthless.
Here, look at all this data we found.
Oh, a folder of papers. Great.
All the evidence is right here.
Wonderful. I'll be sure to take a look at this.
Wait, that's not trash. Wait.
But then we found at the end of the day that the man in charge was useless. Hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. All my crying, all my complaining, please take me seriously.
Oh, wait a minute. I see what you're saying. Hold on.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Clarissa, you're talking about that food truck guy. Yeah, I love his salsa.
What? No.
People are talking. It's my community.
We know something isn't right. So I called my representative about it to see if he could join the fight. Wrote and wrote so thoughtfully, you'd be impressed by our astuteness. But then we found at the end of the day,
our efforts
proved fruitless.
Fruit is good too.
Hey, hey.
I hadn't even thought of fruit.
Hey, 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 hey. All my crying, all my
Green
complaining,
salsa, yes, good.
please take me seriously.
Onions, yes, onions.
Hey.
Lots of cheese. And pickles on the side.
Hey, 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 hey. All my crying, all my complaining, please take me seriously.
Yes, Clarissa, I've decided on nachos. Hey, kids, let's take a quick picture for the governor's facegram. Thanks, kids.
Bye?
By this time, Cleo and Taylor were feeling pretty dejected. The large door from the senator's office closed so conclusively behind them. Their letter hadn't worked. Their personal visit to the senator hadn't worked. People were ignoring their research. The men in charge were useless. Taylor had an idea. You can probably guess what it was.
Do you want to hear a riddle?
Okay, fine. What is your riddle?
Okay! 3 frogs are sitting on a bank, and 2 jump in. How many are left?
Okay, so 3 frogs.
You have 3 frogs. And
Yeah.
they're sitting.
No, I get it. They're sitting on a bank. Right.
Yeah.
Taylor, this is your riddle. 3 minus 2 is 1. So 1?
1!
Taylor, that's not a riddle. That's just math. 3 minus 2 is 1.
Oh.
This is what you've been trying to tell me this whole time?
Well, I thought it was cool because, well, usually you see frogs sitting on lily pads, but, actually there was one time that I was at the zoo.
This is not helpful, Taylor.
There were 3 frogs, and they were sitting next to 3 turtles, and then they all jumped in. Well, okay, maybe the turtles jumped in first, and then the frogs jumped in.
Oh boy. No, Pencil, we already tried writing a letter to our politicians. It didn't work. Now let's see. We've got to figure out what...
Laptop? More research doesn't matter if no one listens. Leave us alone.
What? Wait a minute, Taylor. Wait, I get it. I get what Laptop and Pencil are trying to tell us.
What?
We only wrote 1 letter. It's not a riddle, it's just math. We need more letters. We need more people. We can't do this alone.
Yeah, it's not a riddle, it's just math.
Dear neighbor, I'm sure you've been hearing in the news that our city is considering plans to expand the oil refinery.
Dear classmates, I didn't have asthma when I moved here.
72% of all the pollution in our city is caused from this oil refinery.
And we realized it's not just a few of us who are sick.
Dear Grandma, we're raising money to help protect the land.
To all the teachers at my school, could you make an
Dear
announcement?
community choir, your voices are so beautiful. Would you perform at a benefit concert?
A notice to all local doctors. You've seen firsthand that more people in our area are coming in with headaches.
We are asking you to join us in this fight.
There's a lot of research out there. You won't believe where scientists are finding energy these days.
Instead of using oil, let's invest in renewable resources like solar and wind and hydropower.
Dear Mr. Governor, we want greener jobs. And my neighbors agree.
Taylor, go get some more people involved. I'll stay here. I'll post on social media.
Okay, more people.
They wrote letters to as many people as they could think of. They posted, they wrote, they live chatted, they WhatsApped, they Instagrammed, they farflangled, they Twitteridged, they Google Voiced, they Apple Watched, they Snuggle Snarfed, and they Dazzledorfed to see if they could get more people to join in their fight. And you know what? The people started to respond.
The girl's got a point. She's got a point.
Yeah, it really does make sense.
I just came from watching TV and my eyes are almost crossed.
I just came from brushing my teeth and my teeth are almost lost.
There are some changes that we could make. Let's share our ideas. What are you doing right now? Want to brainstorm?
I'm on my way to my cousin's house, 7 hours in the car.
I'm about to vote on Facebook for the kitty cat superstar.
I was otherwise occupied, but I will stop because I prioritize. I was otherwise occupied, but I will stop because I prioritize.
You could talk to your neighbors.
I talk to people at the dog park.
Town hall meetings are actually really fun.
You could call your state rep.
Everyone's busy, but it doesn't take long.
If everyone does a little, I can do that.
I was otherwise occupied, but I will stop because I prioritize. I was busy doing other stuff, but I guess I can take a stand. I'll make time, I'll make just enough. Together let's make a plan.
I heard you were going to a comic book convention.
Yeah, I'm presenting on Captain Planet and the feasibility of taking pollution down to zero.
I was otherwise occupied, but I will stop because I prioritize.
Pollution down to zero? I like it. We're gonna need to make protest signs. They should have big letters, and let's see, what should they say?
People brought poster board and markers and made signs, and everyone shared ideas for phone numbers they were going to call and emails they would write.
Okay, I'm gonna make that call.
They looked up statistics and told personal stories about why it was so important for the oil refinery not to be built there or anywhere.
72%?
Hi everybody, I'm State Representative Malcolm Kenyatta, and as a state lawmaker, one of my jobs is to help pass laws and rules to make sure air is clean for everybody. Because right now, there are some kids who are black, brown, indigenous, poor, that have to breathe dirtier air instead of cleaner air like some other kids. And that's not fair. Every kid and every family deserves clean and healthy air. But I'm gonna need your help. I need you to continue to tell adults in your life that all kids in all families and all communities deserve clean air. I need your help.
This city?
There was one problem.
This is great. I was glad to come help today. What a great thing you're organizing here, Uncle Steve.
What? Oh, no, I'm not.
Yeah, this is a wonderful thing you're doing, Uncle Steve.
No, this is all Cleo. I'm just helping.
We need people who can gather more data. It's just math. How many people are getting sick? How many train and pipeline spills have there been in other places?
Now, wait a minute, little girl. You have to understand. We have everyone's best interests in mind.
What? No, you don't. Taylor is sick. You're polluting.
There's no way to prove what's causing Taylor to be so-called sick or the earth to be so-called polluted.
There are all kinds of data. People are fighting against this all over the country, except you. You're making money from this.
Look, our business provides jobs.
There are cleaner ways to make jobs.
We're gonna give each of the citizens $200 for their patience with our construction.
$200 to have asthma and health problems and pollution?
Did you say that thing about the jobs?
And jobs.
Do you know how much medical bills cost? It's not worth it. Why aren't they listening?
Even though Cleo was right, she doubted herself, and she doubted her answers to this particular question of what was making Taylor sick. Maybe it wasn't only air pollution from the refinery. Maybe it was other things too. Maybe she hadn't done enough research. Cleo doubted herself, which is true of a lot of people who are actually right. In fact, there seems to be an inverse relationship between how right a person thinks they are and how right they actually are.
Make it big.
Such a pretty.
Make it tall.
Little girl.
Let's get rich.
Love your dress.
Build it all.
Love your curls.
Make it big.
Don't ask questions.
Make it tall.
It's okay.
We don't care.
No need to be
Who
loud
takes the fall?
or in the way.
Cleo, you're right. You are right.
Yeah, Uncle Steve is right. We don't want your jobs.
What? No, you mean Cleo is right.
Oh, such a generous man heading up this project and involving this little girl.
No,
It's okay, Uncle Steve. I'm used to it.
Everyone, this is our organizer, the brilliant and thoughtful Cleo, and she has been leading this from the very start.
Oh, sir, I commend you for giving the girl the credit. Round of applause for Uncle Steve.
Yeah, Uncle Steve.
No, really, look, if I leave, you'll see. It'll keep going. Cleo is the leader here.
Such a pretty little girl. No need to be loud.
Curious, I'm still curious. Yes, curious. Oh, I'm still curious. I've been doing lots of reading and taking lots of notes. There are lots of cool solutions, but we must invest in hope. Like, did you know that in Australia, they're harnessing energy from the movement of the ocean waves? Ocean waves?
Ocean waves? Wow, that's so
I
interesting.
heard that some dance floors are powered by people dancing on them.
Dancing.
Yes, very
love
good.
dancing.
Sounds good.
Curious. We're so curious. Curious. We're so curious.
I read that in a few years there will be solar panels in windows.
Wow! Solar panels in windows. That's amazing.
Oh, windows?
And Japan is putting solar panels in space. Oh, yeah.
Space?
Wow.
Oh,
Windows.
space.
Wow.
We should look into that.
What? Whose side are you on?
Well, look at all these people and space. I hadn't even thought about space.
Well, I have been looking for a new company to invest in.
And with the help of all the people who showed up, the businessman and the senator realized that they were better off joining Cleo and Taylor's team after all. Once they realized they were going to lose money and votes, they started reading the research and pretending that renewable energy had been their idea to begin with.
I guess we're really, thinking outside the pipeline.
Clarissa, I'm curious about these green jobs and also space. Could you look into that?
Hi, here we go.
Curious. Let's make our community big. We're so curious. Let's make our community tall. What would it be like if no one had to take the fall? Curious.
I know, you're just curious.
We'll leave you air and space.
We can find new ways.
Clarissa, new ways.
Laws should be made for keeping people healthy and safe. Curious. We're so curious. What kind of changes are we gonna make? Curious.
We should look into that.
We're so curious. Changes are coming, there's too much at stake. We'll stay curious.
And also healthy.
This is just what this city needs.
And thus concludes the story of Cleo and Taylor and the particular question that they chose to be curious about that month. And perhaps you, dear listener, are curious about some questions of your own.
Our book for today is Greta and the Giants, inspired by Greta Thunberg's Stand to Save the World by Zoe Tucker and Zoe Persico. There was once a girl who lived at the heart of a beautiful forest. Her name was Greta. One morning, things weren't quite as they should be. Greta stepped out into her yard, and there, huddled together in the shadows of the trees, were all the animals of the forest. A soft, silvery brown fox stepped forward, with his tail low to the ground. "Please help us," he whispered. "The forest is broken and we don't know where to go. The giants are ruining our home." The giants had always been there for as long as Greta could remember, but now they were worse than ever. They were huge, lumbering oafs, and they were always busy. They chopped down trees to build homes. Then they chopped down more trees and built bigger homes. The houses grew into towns, and the towns grew into cities. They built factories and shops and cars and planes. They worked all day and all night until eventually there was hardly any forest left. They didn't see all the little birds and bugs and butterflies and bears that trembled in the shadows. And no one told them to stop because everyone was scared of them. Everyone except Greta. "Will you help us?" asked the wolf. Greta looked around her. The animals looked tired and sad. She had to help them, but how? Then Greta had an idea. The next morning, Greta went to the middle of the forest and waited for the giants to come. She stood alone, holding a big sign. The sign said, "Stop!" She waited and waited. On the first day, the giants didn't see her and lumbered on by. And on the second and third, too. But on the fourth day, something strange happened. A little boy who'd been watching Greta made a sign and came and sat down next to her. He didn't say much, but Greta knew he felt like she did. Soon more people and animals saw what they were doing and joined in too. Before long, a huge crowd filled the forest, stretching out to the city and the roads beyond. They stood together and waited. The crowd was so huge that the giants were stopped in their tracks. "Please stop," Greta cried. "Your greedy behavior is spoiling our home. You've broken the trees and trampled the flowers, and now the bees and birds have flown away. These animals are homeless, and our forest is dying." After Greta had spoken, everything was silent. But then everyone in the crowd began to shout, "The smoke from your fires is choking the air, and please stop cutting down the trees. You can help plant some new ones and mend my home. We need to take care of our forest and live together. Will you please try?" they all said. The giants shuffled and fidgeted and stomped their feet on the ground. They were embarrassed and a little sad. You see, the giants were so busy building, they didn't see what they were doing to the forest or the animals who lived there. giants felt terrible. "We're sorry," they said, and they promised to try harder. So from that day on, the greedy giants weren't so greedy. They slowed down and learned to sit quietly. They stopped working all the time and instead took up new hobbies. They stopped chopping down trees and learned all about gardening and living in the forest. They cooked, repaired, tidied, and shared, and before long, the forest became more beautiful than they could have ever imagined.
Climate change directly impacts my future.
Pennsylvania is the third largest greenhouse gas producing state in the entire nation.
Our elected leaders have a responsibility to do their part to cut the air pollution causing climate change.
Oil and gas operations across the state create methane pollution, a potent greenhouse gas that contributes to the climate crisis.
This is a million-ton problem.
This is a million-ton problem.
This is a million-ton problem.
I have a right to breathe clean air. I have the right to safely play outside.
I have a right to a bright future with a family of my own.
We need to stop climate change in its tracks.
For me. For my family.
For my parents and grandparents.
It's time to do the right thing.
I put 100% into everything I do.
I would never knowingly shoot for only 50% of my potential.
Governor Wolf, we expect the same of you.
Close the oil and gas methane loopholes so we can have a safe and healthy future. Thank you.
Curious, I'm so curious. Why does it make my mom and stepdad so furious? Like the time that I wondered how the landline worked, so I took apart the phone and rearranged the numbers. It wasn't anything a little math couldn't fix. Just add 4 to the number you want to dial, then multiply by 6.
Curious, I'm so curious. Why does it make my mom and stepdad so furious?
Or the summer that I grew a garden only made of beans. What could make them bigger? What would make them green? I took half and gave them compost, and that half grew much bigger. So then I repeated the experiment 3 times to see if I could get the same results. And, well, please refer to this figure.
Ooh.
Curious, I'm so curious. Why does it make my mom and stepdad so furious?